at gopascal.com.
Right now at 6, the Running Collective in Pittsburgh hosts a Chiefs edition as part of their monthly run.
And snow falling for some of us across the area, falling pretty heavily in some locations as well. We're going to take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, communities all around in the 4 states celebrate the Chiefs today at watch parties.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. Boy, it is a very busy day. I was telling our producer, Abby, I said, honestly, people waking up, there's only 2 things they care about right now, the Chiefs and the snow.
Right?
So we're celebrating the Chiefs, their Super Bowl win in overtime yesterday. I knew it was going to be a heck of a game, and I only got to watch the first half. I'm going to be honest with you all. I've seen the highlights. I've read the stories. Only got to see the first half because we have to be here. But, man, I knew it was going to be a great game, a great rematch between these two, and it absolutely was.
I'm sure people are still celebrating. We were hearing fireworks all night long.
Oh, yeah, that woke me back up, too. I was like, okay, we're either under attack or we won the Super Bowl. One of those 2 things has happened. Now, this morning, Mother Nature throwing some confetti for some of us. Take a look. This is our camera at the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, and take a look at how heavily that snow is falling. It has covered the grassy surfaces rather quickly, and it is beginning to stick to the roadways if you look close enough there, so we're going to deal with that. MoDOT cameras around the metro, that snow is coming down at a pretty good clip, and again, it is starting to stick to the roadways out there, and we're seeing some snow, some heavy snow actually, just south of Pittsburgh on the KDOT cameras there. And take a look. This is what we're expecting. Dusting up to 2 inches in the white zone, 2 to 4 in this light blue zone. Heavier snow off to our south, including parts of Delaware, Benton, and Berry counties in southwest Missouri, even southeastern McDonald County. However, where you get under one of these heavier bands of snow, you could have locally higher amounts versus what is being forecast here. So do keep that in mind. The best way to show where the snow is really coming down is with road conditions. Now, they're improving in Bourbon County. These were listed as completely covered earlier, and as you can see, we have partially covered on 69 and 54. Some improvements up there, still showing covered highways in the Labette County and the eastern edge of Montgomery County down there. And on the Missouri side, this is another great example of this too. You can go for miles with nothing, clear roadways, and then once you get into this snow, it's going to be that band, and all of a sudden, road conditions rapidly deteriorate, and then once you get south of it, they clear back up again. Covered roadways, including parts of I-44, 49, 60, so the southern part of Jasper County, Newton, McDonald, Berry, and Lawrence counties with some covered roadways, or at least partially covered roadways. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing that snow rolling through the area, and it will continue to do so. Again, not all of it reaching the ground, but most of what we're seeing out there is winter weather advisories until noon here, until 6 p.m. this evening here, and winter storm warnings in the counties highlighted in pink, also through 6 this evening. Temperatures, though, aren't that bad considering snowfall. Most of us in the low to mid 30s, still seeing a couple of upper 30s out there. And then believe it or not, this all will clear out and be out of our region completely by, say, about 2 o'clock. And then the sun comes out, and our temperatures go into the mid-40s today. Talk about a roller coaster ride. It's going to get even warmer after all of this, and we'll have another full look at your forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, an Oklahoma woman is dead after a late-night crash in Joplin. It happened around 11 p.m. Friday night on I-44 near Exit 4. Authorities say 24-year-old Rachel Binford was taking the exit when she hit the rear of a tractor trailer and left the roadway. Binford was killed in the crash. No one in the semi was injured, and the JPD major crash team is investigating the crash. Cherokee County, Kansas authorities are searching for an attempted murder suspect. Police say back in May of 2023, Joshua Ferguson of Riverton shot at a family member multiple times. The victim was unharmed, and Ferguson was later arrested in Webb City, Missouri. Authorities charged him with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and criminal threat. He posted bond, but has since violated the conditions and is now wanted by police. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you are asked to contact authorities. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Running Collective kicked off the Chiefs festivities Sunday morning with a Chiefs group run. The purpose of the event was to get outside and log some miles with other local runners. Participants were encouraged to bring a friend, human or otherwise, to help celebrate another Super Bowl appearance for the Chief.
It's just great camaraderie amongst friends. We just go out and run, and we'll run 3 or 4 miles today with our pets and just have a good time. It's kind of like sitting in a restaurant or a bar setting, but no alcohol and just good healthy fun.
The Running Collective hosts group runs every month. And football fans across the 4 states gathered together to watch the Super Bowl yesterday. KOAM's Samantha Walker met with fans before the big game to see how they were celebrating.
Super Bowl 58 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers is bringing out fans from across the 4 states. Many chose to gather at watch parties at local bars and restaurants to celebrate.
Oh, we got plenty of food. We got some drink specials going on. We got 7 TVs and our big TV that we're going to show the entire game.
He says past Super Bowl games have proven how fun gatherings of fans can be.
We've always had a great time, been a great turnout, and we've seen 2 Chiefs Super Bowl wins here.
And fans from both teams came out to represent.
Obviously the Niners, bang bang, Niner gang, got to represent.
Oh, there's no doubt. Obviously the Chiefs, and I've been with them through the thick and thin, and I've been rooting for them since I moved back from Texas in 5th grade.
And for some fans, watching the game could bring some family tension, especially when a couple has different teams.
We wanted to come out and not have a family feud because we're both one fan each family.
Fans say watch parties offer an opportunity to be around people with the same interests.
Oh, it's enjoyable to hear other people's take on things when things are going good or bad. So it's kind of fun being around other fans.
And fans from both teams were hoping for a win.
I'm just got my fingers crossed for another great win, another Super Bowl win.
I'll be the happiest day of my life, probably. Except for when I'm married her, for sure.
Reporting for KOAM, I'm Samantha Walker.
And the Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22, making them back-to-back Super Bowl champions. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Beyonce made some news during Sunday's Super Bowl. We'll have the details. Plus, a Senate plan for Israel and Ukraine is moving forward after a vote on Super Bowl Sunday. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Beautiful morning, Scotty, and we have an early game.
Yes, that is.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, Beyonce made some news during Sunday's Super Bowl. She teased the release of new music during a Verizon ad that aired during the big game. And then moments later, on her official website, she posted a clip of a new song with a guitar strumming to a tune about the game Texas Hold'em. Then she posted the words Act 2 on the date, March 29th, on her site. And more than 20 million people are under a winter storm watch across the Northeast. A nor'easter is expected to develop early this week and could dump as much as a foot of snow in some areas by the end of Tuesday. That includes Hartford, Connecticut, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Binghamton, New York. The new round of winter weather is part of the storm system that's bringing severe weather to the Gulf Coast and Southeast Sunday into Monday. As the storm moves northwards and encounters cold air, rain will switch to snow and mixed precipitation. By Tuesday morning, winds on the northern edge of the storm will be blasting the coastline of the Northeast, with gusts hitting up to 45 miles per hour. And a Senate plan for Israel and Ukraine is moving forward after a vote on Super Bowl Sunday. An earlier version with border provisions couldn't get enough support. Now backers are trying again with just foreign aid, as Amy Kiley reports.
We are on the precipice of a disaster for Ukraine and for the world.
A $95 billion foreign aid package is closer to a Senate floor vote after clearing a procedural hurdle 67-27 yesterday. It would provide national security assistance for Ukraine and Israel and humanitarian help for civilians in Gaza.
Victory is within reach.
Debate over the bill comes as Israel plans a ground offensive in Rafah. That's a city in southern Gaza near the border with Egypt, where more than 1 million people have taken refuge. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls it the last bastion of Hamas.
Those who say that under no circumstances should we enter Rafah are basically saying, lose the war.
Netanyahu promises to evacuate civilians from the area, but advocates say they have no place left to go.
I believe the Israelis have the ability to do it, especially with our resupply role that we're going to play.
As for aid to Ukraine, Republican support is wavering. Former President Donald Trump is urging senators to make any foreign aid alone and saying he'd tell NATO allies behind on contributions.
No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
Still, senators continue to negotiate amendments for the aid package.
We're going to keep working on this bill until the job is done.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And even if the aid bill passes the Senate, its fate in the House is uncertain. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
We've got snow falling across the area, and take a look. You can see heavy snow falling from our camera at 7th and Joplin rather, and cameras around the metro area showing that heavy snowfall as well. In terms of what we're expecting in the white zone, we're expecting about a dusting to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in that light blue, and 4 inches plus in the darker blue. But if you get under a good heavy snow band, you could see some heavier amounts out there. We're also still looking at deteriorating road conditions in some locations, still some covered roadways into Labette County, eastern parts of Montgomery County, and we have covered roadways across the southern portion of our area from MoDOT, including stretches of I-44, I-49 into Newton, McDonald, Berry, and Lawrence counties. We'll have another full check of your forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
Ashley, this is home.
A 12-year-old's on a mission to make sure every child has a happy Easter. Josh Soden started making Easter baskets for homeless children in Massachusetts at just 8 years old. Now, as Penny Knit reports, his campaign continues this year.
Josh and Crystal Soden spent Tuesday morning opening up Amazon packages.
So these are like the slap band.
But what's inside isn't for them.
We make Easter baskets for the homeless or kids in shelters.
At just 12 years old, Josh Soden is on a mission to ensure every kid gets to celebrate Easter. The initiative started 4 years ago after Josh visited his aunt in a homeless shelter.
He asked us if the other kids were getting Easter baskets, and I said, buddy, I really don't know.
To Josh, that was just unacceptable.
We found out that almost every kid in there didn't have an Easter, so we were like, oh my God. How can we help out?
So with the help of Facebook, Josh constructed and donated 34 Easter baskets. And he didn't stop there.
The year after, he's like, we're going to do it again. Then the year, we're going to do it again.
By the next Easter, Josh made 105 baskets for kids in area shelters. Last year, he made 175. But shortly after, in a turn of events, homelessness hit his own family.
Right after we actually dropped the baskets off last year, we became homeless. So we were in a hotel from April to the week before Christmas.
It just wasn't a great feel living in a hotel. But after we found out that so many people helped us, we thought it would be better to give back.
So, with a newfound sense of purpose, Josh is determined to outbeat last year's efforts. But he can't do it alone. Through the Josh's Easter Baskets for the Homeless Facebook page, you can help nearly 200 kids who may be living without a home, but thanks to Josh, not without an Easter basket.
It's heartwarming knowing how much he would like to change the world.
Very impressive that he started doing this when he was just 8 years old. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got winter weather advisories out there, winter storm warnings for some of us as we head through today. We'll have another look at that wintry forecast when we come back.
Wow, you found it. I did. The History of Water Part 6.
Channel 7.4.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:21 on this snowy Monday morning. Let's take a look. Winter weather advisories here until noon. These advisories until 6 this evening, and winter storm warnings for the counties in pink also until 6 this evening. In terms of snowfall, here's what we're expecting. But again, you could get locally heavier amounts, especially if you get under a heavier band of snow for a longer period. But we're looking at a dusting up to 2 inches in the white zone, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in this dark blue zone. But again, anywhere in this, if you get under a heavy band of snow for a long enough period, you could see some heavier amounts of snow. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing the snow around the region. Nevada getting a break, a little bit of it near Butler, stretching over toward Mound City, Lamar, Carthage, just out to the west of Greenfield, now getting into Stockton as well. A little further south, Mount Vernon, Joplin, Neosho, Pineville, Monette, Cassville, all dealing with this snow, and it is coming down pretty heavily. We'll show you that in a moment. And stretching back into northeastern Oklahoma, Mayan, Fairland, Grove, Langley, Veneta, Chelsea, Newada, Lenapaw, snow out there. Now, not all of it's reaching the ground, and the further west you go, not all of this is reaching the ground, but some of it is, and we can tell very easily where the snow has actually been reaching the ground thanks to road conditions. Over in Kansas, we still have covered roadways in Labette County. Montgomery County seeing some improvements, but still partially covered. And now we're getting partially covered roadways stretching into Cherokee County and Bourbon County. Some significant improvements, but still partially covered stretches of 69 and 54 out there, whereas earlier this morning they were listed as covered. Then we transition to the Missouri side, and this is where we get that great example. We talked about how this snow is going to be heavy in a particular stretch. And then outside of that, you're not going to see much on either side of that stretch. And so you're going to get several miles of clear roadways as you head through parts of Missouri. And then the further south you get, Joplin inside the city. If you look close enough, you can see partly covered roadways, covered on I-44, 49, and most of the highways and major roadways down through Newton, McDonald, Berry, and Lawrence counties this morning as well. Our camera 7th and Joplin on top of the Cornell complex downtown. Snow is coming down heavily. Snow is sticking to the roadways, and it is going to continue to do so. It's already covering the grass out there, and it again is coming down at a pretty good clip. MoDOT cameras around the metro showing where the snow is continuing to fall and where it's beginning to stick to some of the area roadways out there. Even as folks get their day started, you need to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, it shows the snow better in night vision mode, and look at how it is coming down out there excuse me, across the area. Now here's the wild part. This snow, some of us will actually see some rain on the backside of it, will roll out of here by about, say, 2, 3 o'clock at the latest. After that, skies clear out, the sun shows up, and look at these temperatures. Some of us get a little more sunshine, closer to 50 out there, and the rest of us into at least the low to mid 40s for highs today. Even though it's snowing like it is now. 33 in Joplin, it is snowing. 27 is what it feels like with a north breeze at 7. Temperatures around the region again. We've got low to mid 30s out there for just about all of us with a couple of stray upper 30-degree readings. So again, once the snow clears out, the sun shows up, and we're going to go mid 40s out there. That north breeze occasionally gusting to 20. Heading into this evening, mostly clear skies, cold, but not bad. We should be a little colder than that. Low 30s out there with a calm breeze. And as we head into our Tuesday, look at that. Mid-50s, sunny skies, southwest breeze, occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. So whatever snow we get today is going to be gone quickly as we go into the 60s by Wednesday and Thursday. And then as we head into this weekend, we do cool back a little bit, but not significantly so. And we could see some rain chances on Friday and Saturday. That's the wild roller coaster ride Mother Nature's throwing at us today and through this week. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with Health Watch.
All right, well, if you have a cough that doesn't want to go away, doctors say patience could be the best medicine. An article from the Canadian Medical Association says as many as 25% of adults experience coughs that can last up to 8 weeks after a respiratory infection. The paper says patients usually improve without medication, but coughs that persist longer than 2 months should be checked by a doctor. And new research finds that adolescents recovering from concussions could speed their recovery by limiting screen time and even returning to school early. The study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine finds time in the classroom or in after-school activities is associated with faster improvement of symptoms. Previous guidelines recommended complete physical and mental rest until concussion symptoms resolve. And cancer survivors who suffer from ongoing pain may find physical activity reduces the intensity. A study in the Journal of Cancer tracked more than 10,000 adults with past cancer diagnosis. Those who got more exercise were less likely to report moderate to severe pain compared to those who were inactive. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Connect to Culture Medical Center Express Care open from 9 to 5 every weekend and most major holidays.
Right now at 6:30, a local library honors Black History Month with an interactive Black History Fair.
And we've got some heavy snowfall coming down in parts of the area. We're going to talk about this wintry weather rolling through coming up.
Plus, Fort Scott Chamber of Commerce teamed up with local businesses for a chocolate crawl shopping event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. Of course, one of the big things everybody talking about, we've been talking about it all morning, the Chiefs Super Bowl win last night in overtime. Fantastic game. We knew it was going to be
so close.
Absolutely
but we pulled it off.
Amazing. We certainly did. Of course, we'll have more on that throughout today, and of course celebrations and big parade in Kansas City this Wednesday. So lots of stuff going on. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Mother Nature throwing her own party by dropping some snow on us. Take a look. This is our camera downtown Joplin on top of the Cornell complex. You can see that snow still coming down at a pretty good clip in Joplin, and it is sticking to the roadways out there, leading to a number of slick spots. And we do have a number of school closings also, as you can see scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So before you head out, make sure you are checking on that. Joplin schools not on that cancellation list at this point, and we've seen now 2 of their buses go by. MoDOT cameras around the area, again, slick spots. The snow is beginning to stick to the roadways, but thankfully they're not terrible, but they're still going to be slippery out there. However, snow is sticking in some areas, and we do have some travel concerns this morning, hence why there are some school closings. On average, we're looking in the white zone, a dusting up to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in the light blue zone, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue zone. However, in any of these zones, if you get under a band of heavy snow for a long enough period, there could be some locally higher amounts out there, so do be aware of that. Road conditions are the best way to tell where a lot of the snow or more of the snow is actually sticking and falling out there. Lebec County, still a number of covered roadways out there. We have partially covered roadways, 69 from Crawford County, just north of Pittsburgh, all the way north of Fort Scott. And we've still got partially covered roadways here and there and heading into Cherokee County now. On the Missouri side, we have covered roadways in southwestern Missouri, and that includes stretches of I-44, 49, 60, going into southern Jasper County, including partially covered roadways now showing up in Joplin itself. Newton, McDonald, Berry, and Lawrence counties also dealing with this. Skywatch Storm Tracker again showing us that snow, not all of it reaching the ground, and not all of us are really going to see much out of this. There's just that band of where heavier snow will fall, and outside of that, you're going to be relatively clear. You'll barely see anything. Even though the snow may be falling, it may not really stick. We have winter weather advisories here until noon, here until 6 this evening, and winter storm warnings in the pink will continue until 6 this evening as well. Temperatures around the region are not bad considering that we are seeing snow out there. We're low to mid 30s across the area with a stray upper 30 here and there. And then here's the even wilder part. This is the day that proves the phrase, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. As we go into the afternoon, the snow, the rain clears out by about 2, 3 o'clock at the latest. It's out of here. The sun shows up, and our temperatures go mid, even upper 40s later today. And if that's not warm enough for you, don't worry. It's going to get warmer yet. We'll talk about that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. The Joplin Public Library yesterday highlighted Black history and culture in honor of Black History Month. It included a storytelling presentation from local authors, all ages, book displays, and a children's craft table. Among some of the local organizations participating were the Easttown Dreams District and the George Washington Carver National Monument.
I think that what we would really like for people to take away from the fair is not just thinking about Black history as a one-time a year thing, and just to see the wealth of things that are happening and how history is being made every day, and that it's not just Black history, it's American history, it's history for everyone.
Interactive tables and displays were available from 11:45 until 1 Saturday afternoon. The Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce Saturday hosted a service project for local nonprofit organizations. Volunteers were able to spend their morning going to various nonprofits and help them with service projects, including mowing, painting, trash pickup, and much more.
You know, everybody comes together to volunteer and give their time. And these organizations don't have paid employees, so most of the time it's a nonprofit. So they don't have the resources to get these projects done for themselves. So when they can get these volunteers, it's just a great blessing for them.
Volunteers were able to help more than 10 local nonprofits. And the Fort Scott Area Chamber of Commerce has found a pretty sweet way to encourage shopping. Saturday, the Chamber held the Love Local Chocolate Crawl with stores in downtown Fort Scott. Shoppers were invited to shop locally while sampling a variety of different chocolates. Participants were encouraged to stop at 3 or more participating businesses.
It's very important to shop local. You're putting the money back in the community by shopping local, and we've had customers in already right after we opened.
The Chamber hopes the event encourages people to shop local. The slogan for this year's chocolate crawl was, "You can't buy love, but you can buy local." The Southeast Kansas Humane Society yesterday held its 47th annual chili dinner. The purpose of the dinner was to help raise funds for various medications, vaccines, toys, and much more for the animals at the SCK Humane Society. It included a live performance, a bingo bash, and of course, chili. Yesterday's event had more than 50 volunteers. And despite the weather, more than 100 people in Pittsburgh found themselves in a pool Saturday for a good cause. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us more about this year's Polar Plunge benefiting Special Olympics.
The 18th annual Polar Plunge for Special Olympics in Pittsburgh made quite the splash. 150 people found themselves jumping into water around 40 degrees for the cause.
This is a law enforcement torch run event, so this is one of the many events that the law enforcement across the nation put on for our Special Olympic athletes.
All proceeds from the plunge go to help support Special Olympics Kansas.
It buys medals, it rents venues, it gets our athletes to sports competitions, it helps with health and fitness, helps buy their equipment. Anything and everything to do with Special Olympics is what this funds.
One Special Olympic athlete says the event is an important one.
Well, they help the athletes raise money for Special Olympics and for a good cause and everything, and the athletes love it.
We are anticipated to break $50,000 for this event.
Chevy Peters is a world champion with Special Olympics. He says seeing the community support is meaningful.
It makes it feel really good, not just for the athletes, but for the people that come here to help support Special Olympics Kansas.
But this is important because this brings everybody in the community together. We all get to come together and we all get to have a good time for someone else.
One plunge participant says that despite the temperatures, the jump wasn't too bad.
You know, it actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It was, once you're in there, it's a little cold, but you get used to it pretty quick, so it wasn't too bad.
In Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
And there are more than 4,000 Special Olympic athletes in Kansas. To read more about the cause, visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at today's top stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Even with record low unemployment levels, millions of Americans still struggle to find work. We'll see how one bakery is trying to change that. Plus, we have winter weather moving in. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Is all at Metro Appliances and More. The right price on the right product right now.
In Consumer Watch this morning, even with record low unemployment levels, millions of Americans still struggle to find work. They may have criminal records or other barriers, but a business in New York is showing what can happen when people are given a chance. Bradley Blackburn explains.
At Grayston Bakery in Yonkers, New York, Will Dickerson's job is quality assurance, making sure every brownie meets the standards.
We're talking a lot of brownies.
A lot of brownies.
They bake millions of pounds every year, brownies that go in Ben & Jerry's ice cream and sell directly to consumers. CEO Joe Kenner says every brownie has a purpose.
You say
you don't hire people to bake brownies.
Yes, that's right. We don't hire people to bake brownies. We bake brownies to hire people.
Grayston was founded decades ago with a promise to hire anyone who wants to work. What they call open hiring means jobs are filled first come, first serve.
If you're the next person on the list, you're hired automatically. No questions asked, no background checks, no interviews.
Through the Grayston Foundation, they're now helping other businesses use the strategy because the need is enormous. Millions of Americans have stopped looking for work, many with criminal records or other barriers, but with potential to be loyal employees.
It makes you work even harder because they gave you that chance. So you want to make sure you do your best.
Dickerson served 11 years in prison for selling drugs. Grayston gave this father and grandfather his QA job and a way to lift his own standard of living.
Now I have an apartment, my own, I have a car, and I'm happy, really happy.
Should we split it?
That works.
Okay. Proud of his progress, not to mention those brownies.
And it makes other people happy too.
It makes them real happy.
A sweet reward from a bakery that nurtures souls. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Yonkers, New York.
A new documentary tells the story of Greystone's 43-year history and how it was founded by a Zen Buddhist monk. The film, narrated by Jeff Bridges, is called Zen Brownie. And Super Bowl 58 wrapped up last night with the Kansas City Chiefs winning versus the San Francisco 49ers. Every year, Americans spend billions of dollars on snacks consumed during the game. So President Biden used the occasion to call on companies to stop shrinkflation. That refers to when businesses reduce the size of their products without lowering the price. In a video posted on X, the president said the practice is a ripoff and said companies should do the right thing. And billionaire Elon Musk has been ordered to testify again in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission probe of his 2022 purchase of Twitter, now known as X, for $44 billion. Musk had refused to do an interview back in September, though Saturday night a federal judge ruled that the Tesla CEO must appear. The two parties have a week to agree on a date and location, or else the federal judge will decide. And as the country continues to celebrate Black History Month this February, the U.S. Postal Service announced a series of stamps honoring 10 people who assisted with the Underground Railroad. That's a secret network that helped enslaved people escape to freedom. Among those honored are abolitionists Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. The forever stamps are for sale on the U.S. Postal Service's website and at your local post office. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're continuing to see, at least for some of us, some heavy snow falling across the area. Here's our camera. Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. That snow is trying to stick to the roadways, and they are wet, they are slick. You've got to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. And also, some of you need to check the bottom of your screen for school closings that have already been taking place for some areas around there. MoDOT cameras around the metro showing at least by far wet roadways for sure, and again, snow sticking to some of them as it continues to fall. In terms of snowfall accumulations, the white zone dusting to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in the light blue zone, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue, but there could be heavier snow bands at times that could lead to some locally higher amounts out there as well. We're having another look at this snowy forecast here in just a moment. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are after the break, but first let's check in and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, we will put a wrap on Super Bowl 58, and we'll be joined by a special guest from the Super Bowl champs. Plus, Jon Stewart will be here in studio to talk about his return to The Daily Show. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
When I noticed my heat stopped working, take advantage of up to $300 off a professionally installed and supplied water heater. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays, and we're going to start in Mapleton with Lane Northcutt celebrating birthday number 9. Says he goes to Uniontown Grade School. He loves playing baseball and football. Happy birthday, Lane.
And happy 13th birthday to Mariah Watson of Pittsburgh. Says here that she's riding her horses and playing softball. We all love her. Love mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, and the rest of her family and friends.
And we've got Caitlin Sinclair celebrating birthday number 16. Says happy 16th and good luck on your driving test. Today may not be the day to take it. On the other hand, you could learn a few skills in the snow.
Extra
Says,
credit.
with love coming from your 2 grandmas.
All right, good luck, Caitlin. And happy 20th birthday to Alexis Seward. Says happy birthday from Dad, Papa, and family.
And we've got Ann Huser celebrating another year wiser with happy birthday wishes coming from the gang.
And wrapping it up, we have a happy birthday to Michelle Davis.
And we've got Walter York, our neighbor in Crestline, celebrating birthday number 33. Happy birthday, Walter.
And happy 47th anniversary to Dennis and Kathy Layson over in Columbus, Kansas.
And in Chatopa, Johnny and Janet Zwalen celebrating an anniversary today as well.
Happy 59th birthday to Steve Allen over in Pittsburgh. It says happy birthday from your wife.
And we've got Brian Feldman over in Sheldon celebrating birthday number 39. Says love Melody, Hunter, Wyatt, Addison, Dad, and Mom. Now this was a really good list of birthdays and anniversaries. The problem is there are more of these without a picture than with. How can they help us correct this problem?
Oh, I'll tell you, Chris, all you got to do is submit your pictures and messages to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, make sure you meet that deadline you see on the bottom of your screen there to ensure that it makes it on time. Something else on the bottom of your screen that you need to be paying attention to is school closings. We actually just got a message from Joplin schools. They said the buses are already out on their routes. They're driving carefully, driving slowly. Bus routes may be delayed, but school is in session. I know some kids waking up, they're looking outside at what's fallen, and they're going, oh, right. And then their parents come in and say, good news, you're going to school today. But not everybody is, so make sure you check that list. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with out here. Winter weather advisories here until noon, through here until 6 this evening. Winter storm warnings in the pink until 6 this evening out there because we've got some relatively heavy snow falling in some locations. We're looking at a dusting to 2 inches in the white zone, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue zone. However, as we've mentioned, some of these heavier bands of snow, if they get concentrated anywhere in this region, you may pick up some locally heavier amounts of snow. So these are the averages that we are looking at for today. Here's the Skywatch Storm Tracker showing that snow across the area. We're going to start here in the northern part of southwest Missouri. Stockton, Lamar getting in on snow. Nevada, Butler, Osceola, all clear right now. But some light snow flurries may still be possible. Then down south, this is where we've been seeing some heavier snow, is right along and to the south of the I-44 corridor. So Neosho, Carthage, Joplin, Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville, Pineville, back into northeastern Oklahoma, Lenapaw, Newata, Veneta, Miami, Fairland, Grove, all dealing with some heavier snow. And then into southeast Kansas, lighter snow, and not all of this is reaching the ground. However, it has been reaching the ground, say Independence, Coffeyville, Parsons, and Oswego. And the easiest way, as we've been mentioning, to tell where the snow is reaching the ground and sticking and where it is not is with road conditions. From KDOT, still covered roadways being reported in Labette County. Seen some improvements in the Montgomery County, but still partially covered roadways. Getting those partially covered roadways into Cherokee County, Crawford County, and still dealing with that as well. Parts of 54 and 69 into Bourbon County. But again, this morning, Bourbon County all reported as covered. We head over to the Missouri side, and we've got covered roadways, stretch of I-44 into Jasper County, 49 heading south, and then we've got all of the major highways and roadways in the southern part of Lawrence County, into Berry, McDonald, and Newton counties. And we can't zoom in, but if you look close enough in Joplin, where MoDOT has control, you can see partially covered roadways being listed there, and we can see some of that. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown. If you look in the street light, snow is still falling at a pretty good clip, stuck to the grass very quickly, and is trying to stick to the roadways. It's not sticking greatly in some locations, but you can see that slush out there, and that's also leaving wet roadways, causing them to be very slick this morning. MoDOT cameras around the metro area, again showing where the snow definitely stuck to the grass. And now Taking a look, this is the MoDOT camera 20th and range line. You can see a couple of plow trucks out there, so do give them room to do their job to make your day a little easier. Our camera 7th and range line, again, we left it in night vision mode for right now because it's just a little easier to see the snowfall. If we switch it to color mode, you can't see it as well. It has let up a bit from where it was earlier, but still falling. Now, here's where we've talked about that phrase. People around here say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. Today is the best example of that ever. As we head into the afternoon, some of us will be dealing with rain as we start to warm up. Some of us already clearing out. And by 2, 3 o'clock at the latest, all of this is gone. And look at these temperatures. We've got highs today pushing mid, even upper 40s across the area, if you can believe that. Especially if you're seeing the snow right now, you're thinking, man, this guy's crazy. No, that's really what's going to happen once the sun comes out after the snow this morning. We'll have another look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know in just a moment. And when we make the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., a woman in Virginia sends messages of hope through a little red mailbox, and now red mailboxes are showing up all over. We'll have that story.
You make a great team because
in Airborne Raider Division, we are proud to salute Ernest Perez, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. An Oklahoma woman is dead after a late-night crash in Joplin. It happened around 11 p.m. Friday night on I-44 near exit 4. Authorities say 24-year-old Rachel Binford was taking the exit when she hit the rear of a tractor-trailer and left the roadway. Binford was killed in the crash. No one in the semi was injured, and the JPD major crash team is investigating the crash. Cherokee County, Kansas authorities are searching for an attempted murder suspect. Police say back in May of 2023, Joshua Ferguson of Riverton shot at a family member multiple times. The victim was unharmed, and Ferguson was later arrested in Webb City, Missouri. Authorities charged him with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and criminal threat. He posted bond but has since violated the conditions and is now wanted by police. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you're asked to contact authorities. And the Joplin Public Library Saturday highlighted Black history and culture in honor of Black History Month. It included a storytelling presentation from local authors, all ages book displays, and a children's craft table. Among some of the local organizations participating were the Easttown Dreams District and the George Washington Carver National Monument. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, we've got the winter weather to deal with, but by 2, 3 o'clock, all of that's out of here. The sun shows up, and we'll make it into the mid, even upper 40s out there. Heading into tonight, mostly clear skies, a bit on the cold side, otherwise not bad, calm winds, and we're dropping back into the lower 30s. Heading through the rest of the week, whatever snow we get, for those of you who see it, will not last long. Mid 50s tomorrow, 60s Wednesday and Thursday, rain chances on Friday and Saturday, and a little cooler by Saturday.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making roasted root vegetables in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, and all hail the Chiefs. Woo! Next on CBS Mornings, a breakdown of Kansas City's thrilling overtime win over the 49ers, plus Chiefs wide receiver McCole Hardman joins the show to talk about scoring the winning touchdown.
All right, or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll learn the history of all the neon signs that light up the city of Las Vegas.
Plus, Madison Smith joining us in the studio to talk about the Boot Scootin' Boutique Bash that's happening this Friday. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.
Every life in the 4 states should be celebrated and